All right, all right, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? My name is Pete, but you probably already knew that. But in case you didn't, you guys are watching Paid to Drive. And I've got a very special guest today on the live stream. Some of you guys may have known him. He is an up-and-coming YouTuber with almost 600 subscribers. And today we're hoping to get him to 700. So with that being said, we've got Michael from the Delivery Driver Pitstop. Michael, introduce yourself.
Hey everybody, my name is Michael. I run the Delivery Driver Pitstop. Pete has been so kind to, take me under his wing, and I don't know if I'm up and coming, but Pete has been very gracious in helping me out, and I enjoy what I do. And it's nice to have a community here of really nice people to get everything going. Sorry, I got my pig.
Stuart's roaming around.
Yes, come here, Stu. Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
no problem. So, guys, what we're talking about is GrubHub is upset. They're upset right now because if you guys remember, and I'll be honest, I completely forgot. If you remember, about a month or two ago, I guess it was about 2 or 3 months ago, they were getting sued in a class action lawsuit from Tiffin Indian restaurant chain based out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And to bring you guys up to speed, basically what was happening was Tiffin was finding out that GrubHub was charging the restaurant every time somebody called the restaurant through the GrubHub app, and they weren't having it. But the problem here is they didn't really read that contract through and through, because in their contract, it says that GrubHub is allowed to charge per call. Because think about it, it's like free promotion through the app when they subscribe to the service. So people that have never heard of restaurants are now buying food from those restaurants, takeout. There are particular restaurants in my market that never had any business, but now they're like some of the biggest takeout spots. It's crazy. So, Michael, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to kind of give you the floor, kind of talk about this a little bit. I mean, I don't know if you want to read the article or kind of just freelance it. It's up to you.
I'll freelance it. This Indian restaurant was suing GrubHub, like Pete said, for they were trying to get a class action lawsuit because GrubHub was charging them, I don't know, 55, 60. It's a nominal amount. I think under $1 every time a customer would click on the link to contact the restaurant via phone, not online, but via the phone. And the Indian restaurant did not like this, which I personally don't agree with. Even if, let's say, you don't like what GrubHub's doing, you're still getting publicity and you're still getting clicks and you're still getting business because this restaurant is, listed through GrubHub app. So it's almost like the Indian restaurant is mad that they're getting free publicity to get food. And I don't get it. And that's why right now, that's why right now GrubHub is asking for arbitration, because they know if it does not go to arbitration, they're going to lose their shirt on, not GrubHub, excuse me. The Indian restaurant's going to lose their shirt on this because they agreed to this, even though I think I was reading the article, they're not specifically signed up with GrubHub. There's still a contact within the GrubHub app. And like I said, it's free publicity. It's like me on Facebook getting free clicks by in the upper right-hand corner, or on YouTube getting free clicks, and not, complaining to YouTube that I'm getting free clicks when I didn't pay for nothing, but I'm on YouTube and I'm on Facebook. So I personally think this Indian restaurant has not a leg to stand on at all.
I mean, that's what I think too. I think that they're kind of burying themselves at this point, and if anything, it almost makes them look bad, because if you think about it, they're coming out and making these claims. Well, we're going to take you to court. You're falsely charging us for phone calls. But now, if GrubHub wins this lawsuit, it's going to make that entire Indian restaurant chain look terrible. It's going to be bad publicity. This is what we call biting yourself in the ass, pretty much.
Biting the hand that feeds you. Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like shooting yourself in the foot almost, So I guess really when it all boils down to it, these guys are really making it worse for themselves by pushing for it. I mean, if like the whole thing is GrubHub is looking for arbitration. They're looking to debate this whole thing. So now, do you think it's going to be an out-of-court settlement, Michael, or do you think they're going to?
Oh, they're gonna settle, and I unfortunately think GrubHub will settle to get rid of this bad press. So I think they'll settle with the Indian restaurant. Me personally,
Right.
think they'll settle. But the problem is this GrubHub will ban this Indian restaurant from participating on their app. And if you've looked at statistics, and I'm a statistic whore, anybody that does these gig apps, especially on GrubHub, it's a 25 to 30% boost in sales right off the top when you're listed on GrubHub. And I don't understand why they're making such a big deal of this. Like I said, and like you said, biting you in the ass or biting the hand that feeds you. It makes no sense to me why this restaurant, I would welcome it. I mean, and they're not paying nothing. I mean, I would, for every click they use through the GrubHub app to call this restaurant, they get like 65. I would gladly, if I was a business, pay 65, 70 cents for every call. Because I don't know about you, Pete, and your Indian restaurants in New York, but here in California, when I go pick up food from Indian restaurants, it's $35, $40 minimum for each order. They're expensive. I mean,
and it takes 45 minutes for them to make the food if you're picking it up.
Absolutely. So that's one of the Indian restaurants, or one of the few restaurants where it says, you know, suggest a time to pick up, or I'll wait till that time. I'll sit in the parking lot, because every single time, if I go in early, I'm going to wait anyway. So why not sit in the car and, you know, play some golf on your phone or whatever, waiting for the order. So yeah, they're expensive here.
Well, I will tell you this, those orders, whenever I would pick them up, or whenever I do pick them up, I try to avoid those places now. There's only one really good Indian restaurant that is on point. Like, they even hit the ready for pickup button. This other one, I had to have myself banned. I had to email my driver specialist to tell them, please do not send me any more of these orders, please. Because every time I would walk in, like, the order would be placed, let's say, I don't know, 15 minutes ago. And then I get there, and they're like, oh, we didn't even put it in yet. And I was like, don't even tell me that. Please don't tell me that, you know? So I'll tell you right now, Tiffin doing this, I think in their best interest would be to back out and I mean, really apologize. Because think about it. Like, I forgot to, I didn't want to interrupt you while you were talking before, but PHX Fox brought up a great point. He said Tiffin is getting free PR, public relations, minus the cost of their attorney fees. I think GrubHub will tell them to go fly a kite. They have better lawyers than Tiffin. I would say so for sure, because GrubHub is nationwide. I think they're starting to eventually go international. They're publicly traded. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, they're killing it. They're killing it right now. So yeah.
If I was the owner of the Indian restaurant, I think what they have 14 restaurants or 12 or 14 restaurants. I know it's over 10. I would apologize. I would tell GrubHub I'll pay for all court costs, and just cut your losses. And I don't understand why they are going to, DoorDash, no, Postmates, love them both, but they're not going to get the same business. They are not going to get the same business. So yeah, it's crazy why this restaurant's doing this. This is a lesson in not what to do as a business owner.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Real quick, got to give a quick shout out to Paul Anthony. Thank you for the $2 donation. Everyone in the chat, please say thank you to Paul real quick, because that was very nice. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it. Just going back to this real quick, what really grinds my gears, I guess, is just that it's like, it just seems like nowadays suing is just so like, it's like a no-brainer for people now. They're just like, let's see anything we can find to take down a big company, you know what I mean, and just reap the benefits of it, and it's just like, what happened to people starting a business and just trying to prosper, and everyone just kind of mind their own business kind of a deal, you know what I mean? Because like we were saying, they're getting all this free advertisement through these apps, through GrubHub especially. And like I said before, one of the Greek restaurants that was struggling almost went under because the management changed, and they were almost ready to close up. They got on GrubHub, they got on Uber Eats, and I think they're on DoorDash, and they are getting orders nonstop. And I've made a ton of money picking up at that particular place. And I got very friendly with the owner because I was a frequent driver, and really what it all comes down to is they're incredibly thankful. It literally saved their business. Denise Roach, thank you for the $2 donation. I appreciate it. Eric Coda, why is GrubHub pissed off? Because they want arbitration for the class action lawsuit from the Tiffin Indian restaurant chain, suing them for being charged, 65 cents on every phone call made through the GrubHub app. But what they're not realizing is that in the GrubHub contract, it actually says that that's what they do. Because think about it, they're every time someone makes a phone call through the app because they were just browsing or whatever, GrubHub is being charged to reroute that number. You know what I mean? So it's like, why make a mountain out of a molehill, right?
And not only that, Pete. Let me get nerd out a bit here. GrubHub is paying out of their pocket for that bandwidth to push that app. Push that restaurant through their app. That costs GrubHub money to run that. That information through the server. So they have to smart. Business senses. They got to make their money back. Making their money strictly on drivers don't do it. They got different avenues they have to make money on, and this is one of them. And so I don't get why this restaurant is doing this. I was at a Pakistani restaurant that I pick up from, which is huge here in Southern California, and this restaurant is hidden in one of these strip malls way in the back. And they were going to go out. I was talking to the owner. He says GrubHub brings in 50% of their business. 50. And you know what? I believe it. Why? Because I'm there 3 or 4 times a day picking up from them, and they're getting 75. I'm picking $150 orders up from this restaurant. Every time they see me or another GrubHub driver, they get a big smile because they know GrubHub is saving them, and they're getting all. It's you scratch my back, I scratch yours. And this restaurant needs to. I know they're not listening to us, but this restaurant needs to call it quits. Take one for the team, apologize to GrubHub, and say, you know what? Thank you, GrubHub. Actually, I appreciate it. 70 cents. Hey, am I a 5-star business? And not all businesses are listed on GrubHub. GrubHub has the option not to list your business if they don't find it, going to make money for them too. So,
right.
Think
of it this way. Let's say, I'm going to give you an example. Let's say I have never had Indian food ever. I open up the GrubHub app. I'm looking through and I'm like, you know what? Hey, honey, let's try this Indian restaurant. Oh, wait, someone has a peanut allergy. Let's call the restaurant. 70-cent call. You call the restaurant. Hi, my wife has a peanut allergy. I have a peanut allergy, whatever. It's like, do you cook, with the same peanut oil or peanuts or whatever? Oh, no, we don't. Oh, thank you so much. Then they place a $100 order or a $70 order. That 70 cents just pushed a $70 order. You know what I mean? And they're not looking at it that way. They're looking at they're taking money from me, from my bottom line. And that, like people have always said, you got to spend money to make money. You know what I mean? So,
absolutely.
Oh, UPS is delivering it that way. But really what it comes down, thank you. PHX Fox, huge ROI, return on investment. Absolutely. I'm telling you,
buddy.
That's the way it has to be looked at. Like, I'm going to give a perfect example. Michael just got a whole new setup. He has a green screen, lights, all of that stuff. He made an investment in his YouTube channel. His videos look even better than ever now. Okay, that's a return on investment. And like I feel like these restaurants are not looking at it that way, because think about it now. Now that Tiffin has made a big deal about it, who knows what other restaurants wanted to now sue GrubHub for it. You know what I mean? But again, they're playing follow the leader. They're not looking at it as, you know what? I could deal with 70 cents an order, a call. And let's be honest, I'm just from my own GrubHub experience, before I was a GrubHub driver, I was just a GrubHub customer. I never once called the restaurant, ever, not once. I just placed the order. I never called. So how many phone calls are they really getting from the app? Like maybe, I don't know, what, 30 a day? Maybe, And really when it comes down to it, I don't know what 70 times 30 is, but it ain't that much compared to all those people placing those orders. And like Michael said, those Indian restaurant orders are always $35 to $40 minimum, because they won't even accept an order otherwise sometimes, So I've been talking too much. Go ahead, Michael.
And you got no. And you got to look at it this way too, Pete. As a GrubHub, we order through GrubHub ourselves. How many restaurants have you discovered that you had no clue were there? You're thinking, let's try that food.
Right.
Simply because GrubHub was listing listing this restaurant. Exactly. Tons. And in my area, as I mentioned in one of my videos, the Temecula Marietta area where the mall is, there's probably 200 restaurants in a 10 square mile area here. And I mean, that is a crap ton of restaurants, and you're not going to be able to visit them all. And GrubHub does all the hard work and, goes out there and recruits these, puts them on their website. And I think it's great discovery. I mean, I've discovered like several new restaurants that I've eaten at simply through looking through the GrubHub app. I mean,
you know what? Same for me. Places I didn't even know existed. And now I actually physically, some of them I even physically walk into now. They're not looking at it that way either. They're like, oh, they're just taking money. They're taking money from us. I didn't know that. But they have no idea how much walk-in traffic they're getting now as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, my final word on that is this restaurant needs to apologize to GrubHub and actually thank them and pay the court costs. And hopefully this doesn't lead to GrubHub being, shy about doing this again to others. I mean, let's say GrubHub loses this. What makes them want to do this again to other restaurants? I mean, this is ruining it for other startup restaurants or other restaurants struggling, hoping that GrubHub lists them for 65, 70 cents per call. I mean, I would love that.
Absolutely.
If I was a business, I would beg GrubHub. If I was a business right now starting, one of the first calls I would make would be to GrubHub. I wouldn't want them to even come into my restaurant. I would ask them to come into my restaurant. Please listen.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Smart business. I don't get it.
And I'll tell you just a real quick tidbit here about what you said about restaurants inviting GrubHub to come in. About maybe 5 months ago, I was asked to do a ride along with my driver specialist and my previous driver specialist. They worked together, and they rode in my car with me for the day, or not for the day. It was like for like an hour or two. And every time I would stop at a restaurant to pick up, one of them would come into the restaurant with me, introduce themselves, and get familiar with the owner, the manager, whatever. And I think that's great. And GrubHub, if you're watching, I really feel like you should be doing this more because that was a great experience. Because also it shows the restaurants don't mess with the drivers because GrubHub is watching. They know they're on the driver's side too. You know what I mean? So I definitely. What's that?
And one thing, and I'm not trying to be a cheerleader for GrubHub, but we make our money on GrubHub.
Yeah.
But a lot of I find it's kind of disturbing. Some of these restaurants act like it's GrubHub's pleasure to serve them.
Right.
And it's supposed to be both. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. I mean, you're in it to make money, but some of these restaurants, I hate GrubHub, and you know what? You're making money off them. You got to take the good with the bad. I mean, of course there's going to be bad drivers. Of course there's going to be a screw up.
Let me bring this up. Someone in the chat said his name is Bro Gus. Pete and Mike, you're looking at this too one-sided. Yes, you guys are making good points, but in reality, business is business. Sometimes you just feel like you are being nickeled and dimed every which way. Yes, and yes, I get what he's saying.
Absolutely.
Get it, but they don't realize the benefits of being nickel and dimed in this particular situation. You know what I mean? It would be different if GrubHub is like, okay, we're going to charge you for the app. We're going to charge you for the tablet. We're going to charge you for shirts. We're going to charge you for the business card. I don't know the logistics and the deals with that. I don't know. But this situation, it's actually good to be nickel and dimed. Michael, what do you think?
Absolutely. You gotta weigh the good with the bad, as you said. I get exactly what he's saying about nickel and diming. A perfect example of that had a lot of backlash is airlines. They nickel and dime you for seat costs, moving seat, our luggage. I mean, that's ridiculous. They're just trying to, trying to be weasels and make all the money out of you. But when you're in a restaurant business and you're using an app, it's worth getting nickel and dime, especially for this. And like I said, let's say it's $2, let's say it's $4 a click, it's still worth it because you're going to make 10 times that on the order. And let's say let's say you, give an example. Let's say for giggles that GrubHub charges $2 per call. And let's say that customer, you got one customer you only get $8 or $9 order for that. So you're not, after cost, you're not making much, but you just gain yourself a new customer, and that customer in the future may order something huge. So
right.
Don't discount that $8 or $9, getting mad because it's only $8 or $9 order because you got nickel and dime. I get what the gentleman's saying about being nickel and dime, but in this case, I think it's worth it. As Phoenix Fox says, return of what is it? ROI.
ROI, return on investment.
Return on investment, absolutely.
And I mean, yes, I totally get it. Business is business, but I mean, again, don't bite the hand that feeds you. Literally, GrubHub is giving you all of this revenue. I mean, you said that Pakistani restaurant got 50% of their traffic from GrubHub. I mean, that tells you right there. And guys, what most people don't realize is this is the future. We're in the very early stages. GrubHub has been around for over 10 years, which I didn't know. Shout out to the channel Saying It Like It Is. He was working with GrubHub 10 years ago when it was only an online ordering service. There was no delivery. So with that being the case, look how much of an evolution is there now. Look, people that were jobless, unemployed, have jobs now. They're making great money. We're all making pretty good money now, So there are just so many more benefits to it in that regard, just to wrap this whole thing up. So I really do hope that GrubHub does get justice for this, and can settle this out of court, and everyone can shake hands and move on. You know what I mean? That's my final thought on that. Michael, what's your final thought?
Absolutely. And as I was reading an article, the gig economy right now is in its infancy. I mean, in 2 years, the gig economy is going to increase by 60%. They're saying at least 60%. That is huge. I mean, it's barely in its infancy. It's like the internet in 1993. That's where we're at right now with the gig economy. It's going to explode. We have not even seen the tip of the iceberg of what's going to happen with this.
Was 1993 really when things started kicking off? That's when like AOL and CompuServe and Prodigy.
Oh my God! I was on AOL. I was on CompuServe. I was on. That's when, remember, AOL was charging $4.99 an hour.
Yeah, that's right. To use the phone number for dial-up and all that.
That's right. Absolutely. But
because then I remember it went to $20 a month pretty much for the rest of its lifetime.
Yeah, the reason why is I remember the first, it was like on crack. The first time I was on AOL, I got my first bill. It was like $500, and I about fell off my chair. And that was back then. I mean, a lot of people were getting these huge, bills from AOL.
Oh yeah, I was going to say I remember those days. But anyway, on that note, guys, if you would like more information about what we discussed today, especially if you guys just joined us towards the end here, I apologize. I don't want to keep repeating ourselves because we're going on almost 25 minutes here. But the link in the description down below, there's two of them. There's two article links that explain everything about this in more depth. So I would urge you guys to go check that out. And of course, now Michael has a little, little something he wants to tell you guys about something that will happen in his life.
Yes, I don't like to kiss and tell, but thank you, Pete. Anyway, last night or this morning at 12:15, my wife and I became grandparents. We had a 11-pound, 15-ounce baby boy named Travis. So I'm sorry, not 11 pounds. 11
pounds, that's a big baby.
7. Oh my God, my wife just yelled at me over here. 7 pounds, 15 ounces, baby. His name is Travis. And so I'm working on very little sleep. My wife was at the hospital yesterday, 14 hours. I was like, oh my Lord. So boy, I feel old now. Thanks, Pete.
Well, listen, it's still a happy thing in your life, and we got to celebrate that. So welcome, baby Travis, into the world.
Thank you.
With that being the case, guys, I want to say thank you to Michael for being here. It's been great. Do you still are we running unlimited time for the second stream, or
we can if you want to just throw that in, piggyback it now, we can. Yeah,
okay.
Because I got to hit soon. Not now, but I have to head to the hospital shortly.
Do we have at least 20, 30 minutes?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. So guys, here's what we're going to do. We actually have another topic that's incredibly relevant here. All right. So I definitely think you're going to want to stick around for that. Make sure you watch all the way to the end. We're going to be doing that shortly after this. I got to set it up maybe within the next 5 minutes from the end of this. But before we do that, Michael is at 598 subscribers, guys. Okay. He's growing at a very rapid rate here. from only really doing this about a month and a half now. He's currently at 590 subscribers. You see that, guys? You guys already know what I'm already going to ask. His link is in the description down below. Make sure you go to his new video. Flood his comments saying that Pete sent you or Pay to Drive sent you. Let's get this man to 700 subscribers. Comment 333 if you have already been subscribed to the Delivery Driver Pit Stop. Comment 444 if you haven't yet. Guys, make sure you subscribe to this guy. He uploads pretty much almost every day, and I hope he starts doing some more live streams because not everyone can keep up with a live stream, but this guy can, absolutely. So help this guy out. Let's see if we can hit. Actually, he's about to hit 600 subscribers right now. Look at that.
Yay!
Almost there. So on that note, subscribe to him down below. Links in the description. We're gonna wrap it up right here, and just wait a few more minutes, and we're gonna have another live stream coming at you. My name is Pete with Pay to Drive, and we got Michael from the Delivery Driver Pit Stop.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us.
Absolutely. And we'll see you next time. Get that money, get that honey. Thanks for watching. Peace.